Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Address your sexual hangups. Address them. Look, I'm gonna tell you what, like a lot of people, a lot of men, even, especially a lot of men, they can have some like weird comments or pushback comments anytime I talk about sex. They really need to address their own sexual hangups. Because let's be real, if you want, look, the main thing I talk about on this channel is man gets woman. If that's not what you want to talk about, I got two other channels, a money channel and a deep thought channel, where it's very rare I mention anything about relationships. You could be over there, but you're here. So you obviously want women or to deal with them, and let's be real. Guys, you know, you got whole industries before men gets women, especially on social media. You know, either going against the women, talking what the women doing wrong, or telling men how to get women. All right, but then all of that really comes down to sex. You want sex, and there's no shame in it and everything. But here's an issue: a lot of guys need to deal with themselves first. Like I always say, if 20 women rejected you, the only thing they had in common was you. And just to be clear, because I know some guys be like, oh, you don't tell the women that. Actually, I did. When I was doing my women's channel, I did. And I always do. So, get off of that. But if you having that, you got to ask, what is it within you that's having trouble relating? Because someone with a man who doesn't have any sexual hang-ups, got a normal sex drive, he's not going to have a problem approaching women. He want to get sex. He's not going to have a problem figuring out what he needs to do to attract women. He wants sex. Let me use a crude analogy. It's like a drug user told me one time. He said he can go to any town, any place, and figure out where the drugs are. If you want something, you're going to get it. But see, a lot of guys don't realize they have some sexual hang-ups. So that's limiting how they're going to interact with women. They're not sexually confident. Like I've had several guys hit me up and complain about their penis size. Like, oh, can I get a woman? I'm small. It's like, really? Really? And just to be clear, because I know somebody going to ask about that, figure out how to work with what you got. Okay? Work, unless you got a legitimate micro penis, you can work with what you got. All right? Because if you understand a woman's anatomy, you can know, okay, her most sensitive area is only about 1 inch in. You know, no matter what they might say, you just got to work with what you got. And I've actually personally known some women complain about the guys who are too big for them, because each vagina is a different size. So it depends on the woman. Figure out which women your shit fits with. In fact, that's a very good way of figuring out compatibility. It's some deeper stuff. Maybe I'll do an on-demand video on it, you know? And I'm gonna see how many people are gonna ask for that video. But whatever the case though, whatever the case, is still within you. Because if you have a sexual hang-up, then, or some issues regarding sex, you're not gonna wanna interact with women, because on a deep level, you know, interactions can lead to sex. So if you want to really get with a woman, you want that girlfriend, wife, whatever, you got to deal with the sexual part. Indeed, all this talk about body count, that's still a sexual hang-up. That's still a sexual hang-up. And please don't come on here talking about with the women this or that. No, we're talking about you. Men, on this channel, men focus on their self-development. They don't worry about the women. And then deal with the righteous women. Because even a low body count woman, she still wants sex. So you got to ask yourself, what's stopping you from making that move? You see that fine woman, she turning you on, but you know what? You concerned about your size. You concerned whether or not you can satisfy her. You don't think you're attractive. All of this stuff. That's a hang up. You need to deal with that. And it can come from different ways. And look, I'm going to be real. Sometimes you might have to get professional therapy or something, because no telling what happened in your childhood. You got to address whatever gave you those hang ups. It can even be religion. Okay. But even if you follow on a path that say you need to be married first, you still got to interact with them. You don't have to have sex with them right away. You still got to interact with them, because I'm that person. I trust me. I got a whole network of men and women across the planet. They feeding me information. They feeding me what's going on. They telling me private stuff. And you got some guys out here, they married and still in sexless marriages. And it ain't always on the woman's fault. It ain't always the woman. They got some hangups. They got some hangups. You need to deal with them first. You need to deal with them. One is just healthy. It's just healthy. Because trust me, if you have a sexual hangup, that can affect you in other ways. That can affect you in other ways. That can make you like one way, just one way. If you don't go for it like sexually, you might not go for it in other areas in life. You might not take those chances, those risks. You know, you might not go for that raise, because that goes into the thing of sex transmutation. You take that same energy you use to get a woman and you say, well, I'm gonna make some money with it. I'm gonna chase that dollar the same way I'm chasing that pussy. It'll work. Because that's the secret of how I've been able to move up. That's my secret. I just take that same energy and just transmute it. Napoleon Hill talked about it in his landmark book, Think and Grow Rich. And I know some people, they want to go against that, but well, it worked for me. And it worked for plenty of other people. And quite frankly, it works for the men who run this world. They really into it, who actually run this world, you know? But here's the thing, you got to deal with it first, you know? You got to deal with it first. You got to have the energy flow, because even if the energy isn't flowing right, you stifling it. It can affect your health. It can affect your health. I remember I talked with a doctor one time. This was an actual doctor. And we were talking about the prostate. And he said, sex 3 times a week, you'll be good. I was like, okay. Oh, wow. So, okay, I got to keep my prostate healed. You know? Seriously, it affects you in so many ways, but you got to deal with it. Now, you might have to get therapy. You might have to talk, maybe a spiritual leader, whoever, but you have to deal with it. First, you have to face that you have it. You have to face that you have it, because one, if you don't deal with it, it can bring so many things. I'd have to bring a licensed psychiatrist on here to like talk about some of the shit it could bring when you're not dealing with it. I had to bring in the big guns for that one. But the fact of the matter is, you need to address it. You need to look in the mirror. You need to take responsibility and look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And there's no shame. There's no shame in it. Seriously, because you got some dudes, they might have some issue because of molestation or something. Okay, you need to deal with that. You need to heal that. Whatever the case, you need to deal with it, heal it. Then you can move on. Then you'll find your relationships are regular. Because seriously, if a man and a woman interact, any interaction between a man and a woman is always a sexual dynamic. Always. Indeed, I've said several times before, when a woman's checking out a man, there's always a sexual dynamic, even if there's no direct possibility of sex happening. They're always looking. And we're always looking. Let's just be real. If you go into a store to buy something, and you got that real sexy sales clerk versus that plain Jane, which one you gonna walk to? Which one you gonna walk to? You know? Or if you having just a regular business conversation, and that woman is with a woman or some business conversation, you're gonna be more engaged if she's sexy. So it's normal. It's normal. All right, even if you don't have no intention of doing anything, it's still playing, because when human beings are interacting, that's just a reality. The sexual dynamics are there, whether you like it or not. And anybody have a problem with that, you need to get out. You need to get out more, and you need to be realistic. All right, but you need to address it, and it's mainly just for your personal health, your mental and physical health. If nothing else, because it don't mean you can deal with it all of a sudden you're going to be player. You don't need to be that, but it still needs to be healthy. And indeed, the reality is, people are talking about money breaking up marriages and stuff. A lot of times it's sex. That's why you got so many married women cheating, so many married women complaining about dead bedrooms. So even in marriage, that's a big part of it. That sex is a big part of it. So want you to address it, and you're doing it for yourself ultimately. Okay, you're doing it for your own mental and physical health. Indeed, could be even your spiritual health. All right. So that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.